Guys, hello, this is Lisa, occupational therapist. I'm working at Panacea Therapy Center with children with special needs, and like every Wednesday I am going live to be here with you for a couple of minutes to talk, maybe to solve some of your questions, or maybe if you have like some stories to share, or otherwise just give you an update or maybe a suggestion of the week. Let's say last week it was very interesting because we were talking about pre-writing skills, and after the video I received a message asking what happened. So we were I was explaining the best way how to work on pre-writing skills when the kid is learning to write letter formation and number formation. And someone wrote me what to do if the child is not paying attention on the table, no? So imagine we are working on handwriting or maybe other activities, and the kid is not really attentive on the handwriting or letter formation or anything that we do. Attention is a big milestone and big skill. So sometimes because of children with autism or ADHD, or maybe other children with different difficulties, find it difficult to pay attention, especially on tasks that requires a lot of attention. Because when we say the child is like lazy, or the kid doesn't want to pay attention during handwriting or whatever, we think that automatically he doesn't have attention, or basically he is too distracted with everything else. So here you have to separate two things. In one area we have to see if the child does pay attention. So imagine it's the first time that you are seeing the client, and or it's your child and you want to work with him in puzzles or maybe different things. First we have to make sure that the child is paying attention to small activities. So if he got attention from things that he likes, most of the time we can get his attention to handwriting. Today I've got with me an example of one of my students that today we had a session, and I'm very happy with his letter number formation in such size, and I will come back to this later on. So in one point you have to make sure that the child does have attention. And on the other side, if the child is too distracted, and he is looking everywhere and not able to concentrate in one particular task, it means that then we have to forget about handwriting and letter formation, number formation, and try to satisfy his sensory needs, his regulation, in order for us to actually make him sit and pay attention. So there are two factors over there. There is the academic skill of him actually knowing how to do letter formation and number formation, plus paying attention. And on the other side, we have to make sure that the child has settled all his sensory needs. When the child doesn't have settled all his sensory needs, most of the time we will have a kid who won't manage in a classroom environment. Maybe will manage partially, but not fully. You will need to move. We will need to implement movement breaks. We will have to implement different strategies from occupational therapy point of view. I often work with schools, very much detached. Hello. I work a lot with schools. I like to work with childcares as well. Basically, anyone who's surrounded not to this nice teamwork kind of. So we can, if the school is struggling with number formation or sitting tolerance or independent skills, we can also work during our session. We can guide with our recommendation the parents, and like this it's a teamwork. So the child is working at school with proper indication and proper guidance from therapists. the child is working with the therapist and the child is working at home, because the parents pay attention what's going on in the school and what's going on in therapy. That's fundamental and it's super, super important. So everybody's working together. Now, not everybody can afford, if you go to a private sector, like private clinics, etc. Not everybody can afford such services, but I am referring to those who can afford. Definitely try to work with your therapist as much as possible, because this is the ideal way how we can achieve faster, the skills. Now, hi, thank you very much for subscribing. Now, these videos, lives are happening every Wednesday from 7:30 onwards, and depending how entertaining is this chat, we can stay a bit longer or less, but I'm connected every Wednesday. So this is an opportunity for you and me to meet you, my subscribers, and for you to talk with your therapist here at Alisa and ask me questions and whatever you need. I am an occupational therapist and I work with children with special needs from all the ages. So I don't only work with kids from 4, 5, 6 years old, we work from 0 onwards. And at Panacea, which you can find us online as well, and Instagram, social media, and so on, we work with different kids with different difficulties, okay, and challenges. I was saying that last week we were doing a video about pre-writing skills, and someone did a good question about attention. So anyway, this video is going to be in YouTube, so you can always look it up, and if you have questions, you can write me down. I love to read you, I love to answer you, so I am here for that, so don't hesitate to ask me. Today I brought with me some of the work that one of my students did, and I would like just to a little bit refresh what I was talking last week about pre-writing skills. So go ahead, if you have questions you can ask me, not just about pre-writing skills, like whatever you want. So for example, here I started the session with some scissoring. So we use different scissors, and basically I have hello Ebrar, I have different patterns. So as you can see, there is like a curve, okay, then over here there is like a zigzag, and I ask the child, for example, to cut. It's not perfection, but we have to work on scissoring. Scissor skills are very important for strengthening the muscle of the hand, and also fine motor skills and coordination, because if you think about it, scissors, you need to hold the paper and move and pay attention. So there is a coordination going on there. It's very, very fruitful, but obviously be careful which scissors you use. If you have questions, write me down. Then after the scissoring, what I do, it's usually in this session we did tracing line. So tracing lines, as you can see, his job is quite, I'm very, very happy, because even though we cannot have always like super mega good behavior and great work, but today we managed to do some great job, and he managed to do great zigzag, and even the curves lines, they were very accurate. So this is fantastic. This type of papers, you can find them online for free of charge in a lot of places. I like to use Twinkle, in case if you don't know, it's a great website. They have a lot of hello, have mommy here watching. Yes, so they have a lot of great resources, and they are for free, so you can always check them out. And for example, this one I am using from worksheetfun.com, but you know, there are a lot. So Ebra, what age scissoring exercise are appropriate for? We start working from 4 years 5 onwards. Okay, you don't do before. I will say 5 years onwards, but if the child is active, and like to explore and stuff, you can start introducing scissors. However, before 4, I wouldn't suggest. The hand is not yet developed, and there are other skills that you need to build up for the child to be able to use the scissors properly. Okay, sometimes we will not master the scissoring properly. It's that okay. That's the reason why we have adaptive scissors, and we have different type of scissors for you to help to the child to achieve this skill. Thank you for the question. Mela, let's continue. We did the pencil lines. With the pencil, we worked with the pencil, and we did the tracing lines. And I was saying, I was very happy with his work. And then we did a little bit of, so these are pre-writing skills. You're welcome. These are pre-writing skills. We did, for example, squares and triangles. Okay, so I like to reuse the paper. As an occupational therapist, we use a lot of paper, and so sometimes when we will be working, for example, on letters, I try to use the space as much as possible. So for example, we like to use this square system, meaning you take a blank paper, you divide it in different lines, and different lines, and you do squares. And inside of the square, you can be working on letter formation, number formation, shape formation, whatever you feel like. Pre-writing skills. Now here with this client of mine, we are working on shapes. So we are targeting the triangle and we are targeting the square. Basically what I did is I put 4 dots, and I ask him to join them. And actually it's pretty nice. The squares are also very nice. They are still getting into there. Slowly we will have to work on less dots and more him doing the square, but slowly, right? We are in a process, that's fine. And also triangles. Triangles are a little bit more tricky. However, he managed to do some of them super nice, okay? So we have to continue working. Now, this triangle and the square, I use them as a warm-up exercise before to do number formation and letter formation. This is not like a structure that you need to follow, but if you work with your child at home, or you are a therapist who is working with a kid in letter formation and number formation, it's important that you target these skills. So we have scissoring, we have, for those who joined maybe or joining now, we have tracing lines, okay? So tracing lines can be any sheet that you find online, and then we have squares and triangles, okay? By the age of 5, we should be able to trace, okay, triangle and square as well. So it's important, okay? We should. Now, normally by the age of 7, we should be able to write any shape, or at least the basic ones, all the letters and all the numbers. Depend on which country you are, the schools might push it a little bit more or less, okay? Now we are in Malta, so in Malta, we adapt to what how the academics are working here. However, I like to adapt to the development of the child. So independently, what is the academical pressure, we have to make sure that you do the activities according and for the kid. So if the child is not ready, it's the same like with the potty training. If the child is not ready, we do not potty train. Or we find the moment when you can see that he's getting ready and understanding the concept. For handwriting, it's the same. You start handwriting when you see that the child is ready, but before that, instead of waiting for the kid to get ready into letter formation and number formation, you can start introducing some pre-writing skills, some scissoring, some puzzles, some visual perception skills, etc., to motivate and to accelerate this process, okay? Now, we are working on these pre-writing skills, and coloring, I don't mention, and I don't have here an example, but coloring, it's also super important as a pre-writing activity, because coloring, it's something that the 90% of the kids that I see, that they hate it, they don't like it, because it's not a fun activity. I will say it's a quite complex activity, especially coloring in contour. So meaning that I have a shape and I have to color in. Because one thing it's I scribble, you know, and scribbling it's okay, it's fun, but coloring in contour requires certain skills that if the child is facing some sensory need, some visual perception skills, lacks on those skills, it's going to be a very complex activity, and most of the time the child will refuse to participate in such activity. So what we have to do is we have to start with very easy coloring shapes. You know, sometimes I just draw a circle and I ask to color in something fast, easy, maybe a small circle, you know, and slowly I can build it up. Until the point we can have, for example, a picture of a house or a ball or the moon or a bear, and then we start working on contour, meaning I have the shape and the child has to color in. And it also depends, and very important, the crayons and the pencil colored pencils that you are using. Sometimes we suggest to start with markers or paint brushes, you know. So there is a huge process going on. Actually, it's a nice idea to do a video about it for all of you, but there is a huge process about it. So it's not just I pick up, I go to the shop, I buy, you know, crayons and I just use them and that's it. There is a process about it, and we need to understand which crayons are good, for which age are good. You know, many therapists are using wax crayons. They are very nice and very easy to use. Other ones are, there is this brand called Easy Crayons. They are easy marker crayons, sorry. They're very easy to mark, and so the child is seeing straight away what he is doing, you know, and it can be faster for him to fill in the picture. Insomma, we can maybe do another video about it or another call. But coloring, what the idea was to tell you that the coloring is also very important. And then we are going to be doing, for example, like number formation and letter formation like this. So I'm going to share with you a little bit what he did, and just to explain you a little bit why this and not, for example, something like this. Now, with my client that I'm sharing his job, we started more or less in a bigger square than this, just a little bit bigger than this. So obviously we didn't start with something like that. This is too small, this is too accurate and too difficult for someone who is starting learning how to write and how to form numbers and letters. So we start with something like this, even bigger. Sometimes I just do like a square. So I divide the whole paper in 4, and I will just doing like literally 4 boxes. And in one box I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to ask him to repeat the circle. So we work in imitation. Now, you know that before we are going to do handwriting, there is tracing skills, imitation skills, copying skills. For us to be able to write from memory, we do copying skills. The copying skills are at the end. So the first level is tracing, the second level is imitation, the third level is copying. So for now we're doing tracing and imitation in between. Today's job was about imitation, which is very good. It's a very good step before copying. Okay, so copying, for example, when do we need copying? Copying from the memory, copying from the board. The teacher is writing something and the kid has to copy in the copybook. So this is when you are using those skills. Like I said, how we do it is basically we first transition from big boxes to small ones. And here what we do is, this is also very easy, you can use it you can write it, you can use it at home with any paper that you have. We do small boxes, and we are going to start sort of a game, which is not, but we have to try to do it a little bit entertaining sometimes when it's possible, because not always it's possible. We have to be firm, we have to, still have the behavior of a therapist, even sometimes it's not possible, but anyway. So we are going to start, for example, I draw number 1 and he has to copy number 1. I don't know if you see, but there is a tiny number 1 over here. Then I did a circle, he did a circle. I did the dash, he did the dash. I did the plus, etc., etc. Then what we did the numbers and we did the letters. So basically what you do, it's in a whole paper, you're mixing pre-writing skills, number formation, letter formation. And you will say, Lisa, that's too much. Yes, it is. Depends. Now, I know my client, so obviously I know how much I can push. But if this is the level that you think that your kid can do, this is not too much. It's a very, first of all, here you're working on reducing the letter the space, okay? So the size of the letters and the numbers and the space. And the child starts learning how to be more accurate, because you have to make sure that you do the number in a smaller box. Sometimes the transitioning between we scribble, we color, and boom, we go to a copybook. It's very fast, and the child doesn't have the time, and maybe even the development of the kid doesn't have the time to adapt, to say, wait a second, I was coloring last year and I was just doing big numbers, and now my teacher the next year is asking me to do in a tiny 2 centimeter line writing numbers or letters. It is a big change. So this is why we have to gradually help the kids to move forward, okay? So we had big squares, now we go to tiny squares, and in these tiny squares you can work whatever you need. You can work letter formation, number formation, pre-writing skills, you can do shapes. So for example, you do a triangle, he has to do a triangle. The most important that it's a great example how you can progress from scissoring skills, pencil skills, pre-writing, and then letter formation, number formation. Now, I often work hand over hand, meaning I put my hand on his hand and then we write. Sometimes the child can do it on its own, so that's fine. Sometimes we need way more help. So it all depends on with who you are working. Like I said before, this person asked about attention. Sometimes when we do this job, because it's a little bit more complicated than, let's say, the triangle, the child loses attention and he's looking everywhere and he wants to, change the sitting position and then, distracted, etc. That's okay, because obviously we are requiring more attention for him to pay, no? But we have to make sure that the activity, it's not too long. So, we try to, I don't correct too much. I correct, but I don't correct too much because I want him to start and to finish. I don't want him to get that idea of, my goodness, these activities last long forever. Because at the age of 4, 5, 6 years old, even 7 years old, the kid, it doesn't have that notion yet of how long it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. So we have to try to do the activities interactive enough and fun enough, but at the same time we are learning, so the kid doesn't stay bored kind of, but still pays attention. So like I said before, this looks like a lot, but I didn't do more. I just did 1 page and that's it. We did. I did, for example, the letter or the number, and he imitated me, and that's it. And that was enough for today. Obviously, we did other activities, but I am just going to go into pre-writing skills. So that's a little bit how I do my sessions. This is a little bit how I work on pre-writing skills. You have a lot of techniques. Everybody does different things. Every therapist knows their own techniques and they are fine. As soon as you, there is an evolution, okay? I don't like to start with complicating tasks, because if we have autism, if we have ADHD, if we are having dyspraxia, which is obviously not helping at all, if we have sensory processing disorder, those are already a big, like a backpack on their shoulders. So we have to try to, during therapy, at least my way of thinking, it's we try during therapy to motivate enough the kid to do stuff, but at the same time understand that the process that they are going through, it's a typical process. It's not typical, so we have to try to adapt, and to try to have that momentum of adaptation, and obviously do the activities as much as possible, not just fun and entertaining, but also easy to understand and easy to execute. Because sometimes you will have therapists creating a super amazing activity, and it's like with a lot of questions and a lot of colors and a lot of shapes, but the kid doesn't have no idea what he has to do. So then you lose the attention, lose the sitting tolerance, you're losing a lot of skills that it's not the fault of the therapist of the activity or of the kid because of his lack of attention, lack of sitting tolerance, but it's just the activity is too complex. So there is no point, that's why I also suggest to make sure the activities are according to the age and expectations of the child. So we are not creating something super difficult, because then if we do something difficult, the kid will get frustrated. There is no point. We already have sensory difficulties going on. So try to keep your activity short, but at the same time complex enough so you are working on something every time. I love to talk, but this is exhausting at the same time. So if you have questions, you can let me know, please. I'm here for that. But I like this. I enjoy it very, very much. I enjoy it very, very much. I wish I have more time for this, so I could share with other people, because like I said, these videos that I am recording, they stay on the platform, on the channel, no? So even if you cannot watch it today, or it's a little bit too much information, you can always say okay and come back tomorrow or another day and rewatch it, because maybe I talk too fast sometimes. You can cut me, no problem. But there is a lot of information, there is a lot. There is a lot of different techniques and also strategies how to go about and how to work with your kid. So that's why sometimes it's very difficult for me to tell you exactly yes, of course, Ebrar, of course. Sometimes the parents will ask me something particular, and it's complicated to answer for a particular question, because I tend to give two different, solutions, because every child is different. So not always we can do this. So yes, Ebrar, whenever you want, you can ask me the question and I will be happy to answer you. For example, I had this call from a mom who she wants me to go to the childcare to observe her kid, no? And because the child is biting, there are hundreds of situations why the child can be biting. We cannot have one particular answer to that. But definitely, like I said, I can go, I can observe your kid, I can see what's going on, and maybe I need to refer you to a behavior therapist. Maybe we can do some therapy sessions, maybe I can give you some home advices. So there are a lot of opportunities and suggestions and solutions. However, we need to really understand what's going on and understand what is the difficulty. So, Ebrar, what activities do you suggest for a child who has bad handwriting and poor attention? 9 to 10 years old. Do we have a condition or not? Is he diagnosed with something? ADHD. So I need to think about it. 9 to 10 years old. We can, if we have poor attention, I would suggest you to do physical activity first before you do handwriting, definitely. I would suggest you to do heavy physical activity. So let's say tug of war. If you don't know what it is, basically you take a rope and you do pulling to see who is going to win. So pulling the rope, trampolining, maybe we can do some pillow fighting. Maybe we can do some spiky balls. He has to maybe walk on them, jumping skills, trapeze, hanging, or leather skills. So I would do all these activities to calm his activity, no? And then sit him to write. In handwriting, in tabletop activities, I would suggest to do therapeutic putty. Definitely, therapeutic putty with a very strong one. You can go for the red color, green color, and blue color. Green and blue are the two, the firm one. So I will definitely suggest you do a therapeutic putty to calm him down, but at the same time activate his hands, and to relax his hands. So therapeutic putty, use scissors, okay, as well. I would use maybe activities where if his handwriting is poor, maybe we can do some threading. I don't know if you know what is that, but threading, basically you have a lace and you can put some shapes, some animals and so on. So this is lacing. It's similar for ADLs, meaning activities of the daily life, when we do the lace, no? So I will do lacing. I would do maybe memory game where you have to, you put the card facing down and you do the memory game. You can do shoelace. Yes, you can ask with the shoelace. You can try it. You can try to do a puzzle, maybe more complicated than usual, or maybe those activities where like spot the difference. So I would do all these activities before actually do the handwriting. If in handwriting you're working on space, or you are working on mainly handwriting, basic letter formation, I would definitely do memory games. I will do spot the difference, mazes. The mazes are also very good. I am just thinking like something else. You could do, I would work with those. You can do maybe activities interactive in the tablet or computer if you have. It depends. For example, if he's good at maths, which I don't know if he is or not, I would do activities with logic as well. So he has to think, maybe, I don't know, find a solution to a problem, or maybe those activities we have, for example, a wooden block where you have like 2 + 2 and you have to find the answer, things like that. But it depends how academically he is, because this could be very easy for him. I don't know. I like to play a lot games, for example, like Guess Who, activities. We have, for example, an activity with clocks. For example, a clock activity could be because you will work on numbers, you will work on time, and you will work on the clock, how to say, not formation, but for awareness, no? In the time awareness. For example, we have a game where it's written what each person did during the day, and the child has to find the card that correspond to the same time. For example, at 4:30 p.m. the child went for swimming lessons, so the kid will have to pick up 4:30, find it around. Those activities are very entertaining, and at the same time you are working a lot on communication, you're working on attention, you're working on sitting tolerance, because we have a very I will say bad idea of thinking that when we have attention difficulties we need to sit and we have to build it up. Sometimes a long puzzle, a difficult puzzle, or with more pieces but not that difficult, or maybe an activity like guess who or cards game, a basic one, can help to build up the attention faster, because it's more fun, it's more entertaining, and the child still have to pay attention, right? So we are sitting and we are playing guess who. I still have to pay attention to my personage, guess the person, for example, my client's personage, etc. So you're working on attention. It's just different than sit down and do the homework. With ADHD especially, you need to be super creative. They like creativity, they are very creative, so you need to catch up with them. And I will say family games, even dominoes, for example. Dominoes I like to play a lot. For kids who understand, of course, yes? So we are talking about maybe at this age it will be fantastic. Domino game, it's also good. Like, you know, those type of activities I will do. And then maybe you can be giving him a choice, which game do you want to do, this one or this one, and then but don't forget at the end we have to do 3 sentences, for example. So we do the game, or you can motivate him, we can do the 3 sentences now, and then we are going to play the game. Sometimes it just depends on the kid. Now, I don't know him personally, so obviously I'm just, like randomly giving you ideas that are coming to my head right now. But there are a lot of activities, especially at 9-10 years old. I will definitely go for family games, like table games, definitely, because they are super fun and entertaining, and you still work on a lot of skills, it's not just a game, I sit and I play. So you're very welcome. Thank you for asking, and thank you for joining, and thank you for staying. All of that to you, yes. All right, so dear guests who came, who left, who is staying or not, thank you very much for joining. I hope that this was useful. Maybe not, maybe yes, I hope yes. I will be seeing you next Wednesday at 7:30-ish. I hope that I managed to give you some information. Don't forget that next Wednesday I'm connecting the same. If you have any question, you can write it down, and then I will target it next week. And if you have any suggestion that you would like me to talk about or a topic, let me know, okay? Usually I just think about like, okay, today I'm going to talk about this, that. I love our job, but there are thousands of topics that we can be talking about. So you're welcome. You're very welcome. I'm super grateful that some of you benefit from them. So that's fantastic. Okay, I will be seeing you next week. In the meantime, take care of yourself, and I see you next Wednesday. Bye bye. Thank you for joining.